What's up everyone, I'm Sammy and welcome to my channel, or welcome back. Today's video I wanted to put together for the class of 2020 and all of those who are picking and deciding on their college to go to. I know so many of you have already picked a college, but for those of you who haven't and are still so confused on what to do, then I hope you find this video really helpful. I know this decision is already absolutely crazy and so stressful, and not visiting a college campus can make this decision even more hard. Please keep in mind that not everything I'm saying in this video are reasons you shouldn't pick a school over another, but I do think that it could be really helpful if you have two schools that are fairly similar to each other, helping kind of decide which one might be the better fit for you. So take what you want out of this video. So I put together a big list of everything I thought about when I was choosing Cal Poly. That's where I go to college. So yeah, this video is going to be really chill. I'm just reading out of my notebook of things that I wrote down. And also I'm not going to be focusing on things your parents have probably really told you about, like price and location. I would rather focus on things you may have not thought of right away. The first thing I think you should make sure you know about the school you are considering going to is if it is a quarter or semester system. This is going to change a bunch of things about your college experience, but it won't make one college experience necessarily better than the other. It's just going to change some things. So if you're on a quarter system, you're going to be going to school probably the very end of September or very first week of October. Also, your academics will be changing a bit from a quarter to semester school. For example, a semester school, I think they do like 5 or 6 classes at once. Correct me if I'm wrong because I don't go to semester. And they take 2 sets of midterms, fall and then the spring term, and they also have 2 sets of finals. At quarter schools, you have a fall, winter, and spring term, and that means you'll be taking 3 sets of finals, midterms. At times, it can seem like it goes a lot faster than a semester school because you're constantly feeling like you're being tested. But I do really like going to quarter school, and for me, my learning style is better because I have fewer classes at once. I also think it's cool to know if your school is really big on sports, school spirit, like do they have tailgates, all of that. My school does not have that. We have other things that replace that, so I find it still really fun. I think knowing the sports scene is definitely important beforehand. I don't know why, but I thought Cal Poly just like automatically was going to be big on sports since they did have a football team. I didn't really know anyone that went there before me, so I couldn't really ask, and then I got there and I was honestly kind of confused, and everyone made fun of me, so know that before you get there, I guess. Something else I wrote down is knowing how the recruitment and rush process work. Something that definitely shocked me was some of my friends went through recruitment right before they started school in August, and then they moved straight into their sorority house without ever living in a dorm. I really wanted the dorm experience, so having that was definitely super important to me. Another thing that might be of interest to you is knowing whether you can or cannot live in a sorority house. Not all schools have big sorority houses that can fit every girl in their chapter or a large portion of their chapter, and some schools don't even have houses at all. Some schools have a Greek row, some schools don't have a Greek row, so those are all different aspects of Greek life that if they're important to you, you should definitely research. My best tip for that would definitely be watching YouTube videos per school, or you can even reach out to one of the students that goes there. Real quick, I do want to give a piece of advice all about asking people for their opinions. I think it is so important to ask other students that are already going to that school what it's like and asking them for advice, but I do think it also is really important to ask multiple people. Every single person is going to have a very different experience than you, and one person might totally love that aspect of their school and make it seem like the best thing ever, but for you, that might not be the best thing ever. So definitely reach out to multiple people. Facebook pages are so helpful for that. You could also like go on the Instagram and see like student life, and honestly just direct message any of the people from there. You can just let them know you're a prospective student and have some questions, and I'm sure they wouldn't mind at all. Now to talk about dorms. I know that's definitely super important to pretty much everyone. It's cool to know what dorms they have before you go to the school, especially since you'll probably be living on campus. Most schools have their freshmen and possibly sophomores and older live on campus, so these dorms are going to be a really big part of your college experience. By no means do I think that should be a reason to not choose a college if they have like older dorms. I think that the dorm experience is definitely what you make of it, but knowing like what's available to you in those dorms can be really helpful. Also, I think it would be cool to know if you're in a suite with like a kitchenette, because that could definitely help you not have to eat at the dining halls for every single meal. Something else I get asked a lot, especially about my school, is do you feel like you live in an isolated area? Do you have things to do around where you live, where you go to school? Because my school is far from major cities, I get asked this question a lot. People want to know if Cal Poly feels like an isolated campus, and for me personally, I did feel that when I came to Cal Poly, it felt a lot more isolated than where I live in San Diego. but I don't think that there's nothing to do. I love going to the beach, so I always have that option. There's lots of hikes and things to do outside, which is really nice. I think a lot of people end up choosing Cal Poly because of how beautiful San Luis Obispo is, so keep that in mind when picking a school. Like, are you gonna feel trapped? Are there things to do? Are there things that you actually like to do in this town? So definitely keep that in mind. Weekend life is so important because you have to realize your college experience is not always going to be studying. What kinds of things are available to you on the weekends? What kinds of things are available to you on school days even? I would definitely look up if they have a downtown area with restaurants and stores, or if they have anything fun nearby. That's always really important. At my school, we have like line dancing and downtown and the beach and lots of hiking trails. So I have found things that I really like to do in my college town, and I think that that's important because you're not always going to be studying, and I do think education is obviously the #1 reason you're there, but you want to make sure you're going to have fun because you're going to feel really trapped if there's nothing you enjoy doing in that town. Something else that really caught my attention when looking at all the schools I had been accepted into was whether or not a freshman could bring a car. It is really common, believe it or not, that freshmen are not allowed to bring their cars. For whatever reason that is, my school definitely did not want us to bring our cars. I actually ended up bringing my car about halfway through the school year because I just really wanted to be able to like drive and go places. Another aspect I thought was really important was knowing whether or not it's easy to travel in and out of that town. Do they have any airports nearby? Do they have a train station you can take to and from school? Do they have a bus system that's good? I think these are all really important things to know, and it just helps you feel a little bit more prepared going into your first year. I think another really important thing to talk about is the school culture. School culture is going to make your entire college experience. These things I mentioned before are all very important, obviously, but they're just kind of like that extra cherry on top that makes the school even better. Something that I wrote down and I think is one of the biggest reasons I love my school is the school's main philosophy. How's that school going to teach you? What is their approach to teaching? All of that. I also think it's important to know what your class sizes are going to be like. Are your classes going to be small enough so you can interact with other students and engage in the discussions, or is it mostly going to be a lecture because the class is so large? Also, you should know if you're going to be taught by your professor or a TA. It always shocked me that I could be paying so much money for school and not even be taught by that professor. So if that's important to you, I would definitely make sure you ask someone at that school. Another thing I didn't really think about when choosing a school, but I definitely would recommend doing, is knowing the campus climate before you get there. There's definitely resources online for you to kind of get a better grasp on this, and you could also look at clubs that they offer to see if they'll have a community that will best support you and your beliefs. I also found it really helpful to know before going to my school what the internships students are usually getting. I really wanted to know what kinds of internships I would be doing in the future, so I looked this all up on each school that I was accepted to figure out if it would be a good fit for me. I also looked at all the different major classes to see if there were things I would really genuinely be interested in. Going off of that, I think it's really cool to know what the job outlook is from your university. Are alumni recruiting students constantly, or is it harder to get jobs? What is the percentage of students getting a job before they graduate from your school? The students at your school will all fill that out, I'm pretty sure, and it will be posted on your college's website. And if you can't find it, reach out to someone at that school to help you find that resource. Another tip that I have is to know whether or not you can double major or double minor, or to know how often students are doing that at your school. Is it hard to get all your major classes at that university? Is it easier? Is the major you want really impacted? That can all alter whether or not you're going to be able to pick up another major or not, and whether or not you're going to be able to graduate in 4 years. So asking those questions can be really helpful. My last thing that I think is super important is to know the student involvement. Are students just involved in Greek life, or are they doing many other clubs and working a part-time job? This is a really big part of people's college experiences, is how involved they are, how they're making their friends, what they're doing with their spare time. And I have found that a lot of my time has been put towards my sorority, but I'm still able to do a lot of other things. And I think that is really important to have a balanced college experience. This won't be something everyone agrees with, but for me personally, I wanted my sorority to be a huge focus for me, but I also wanted to make sure that I was doing other things with my time. College is so cool and has so many resources for you all the time and so many ways for you to get involved. So it's up to you to take those opportunities. I personally could get a lot better at this. This is something I really do want to work on, especially in my last 2 years of college. I feel like I made the best decision I could have made for myself. Good luck to all of you who are still deciding. make sure you listen to the values you have and things that are important to you. And I know you'll make a decision you're happy with, but let's say you aren't happy with it, you're always able to change it. And yeah, I hope you found this video super helpful. If you did, be sure to let me know in the comment section and give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you all in my next video.